This fight is a fight between Yip and Isaac. So let's watch it all the way through and then break it down.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you bet. You know what I'm gonna do.
All of my cool stuff is at my dad's house. If I do at least play my mind, I know my mom.
Hang on.
And that's it. So let's backtrack and talk through it. Okay, here we go. All right, they're about to salute, so let's just kind of pan through, or they've already saluted. So we're entering the kind of the conversation phase, which is where our swords meet and we begin to converse with each other. Looking at it, both of them are a little bit out of range of each other, not too bad. And now we're going to be trying to figure it out. Isaac is standing pretty tall. His stance is not settled yet, versus Yip, who has that really wide, solid forward stance, ready to go. So stance-wise, Yip has the advantage coming into it. But it looks like Isaac is settling in to a little bit of a stance. Still standing pretty tall, though. So just panning through. Little disengage, little conversation again happening between Yip and Isaac, feeling it out. You can tell, obviously, with the footwork, but Yip is slowly getting on. You can tell, like, right at the beginning here, how much more of Yip's sword has kind of progressed forward. So now it's not foible to foible, it's mezzo to foible here, the middle of Yip's sword to the very tip of Isaac's sword. So with that edge coming in, the strength of the blade, Yip is slowly but surely claiming dominance and control. And with that mezzo, you can start to see, you see that just barely Isaac's sword is starting to get pushed down as Yip claims more and more of it. They're trying to resist a little bit. Isaac's pushing back slightly. Yip is staying in control. And this is, I think, a really solid shot for Isaac, at least from his perspective. What he's seeing is his sword. I know I'm circling the center here a lot, but his sword is in the inside line. He's got a straight shot towards Yip. But the thing is Yip's sword is in contact with Isaac's blade already. So as soon as she starts to feel that press in, she's already ready to start pushing it to the side. So let's see how Yip reacts to this. Looks like he's going for that hand. Didn't fully commit to the range. And Yip is now sliding her sword back here and now has the fort of her sword against the foible of Isaac's sword. So this is actually a really solid position for essentially a block attack combo from a 3. So let's see how. Okay, Yip didn't take it. She's maintaining position. Isaac's pressing again, trying to reach around, and this time Yip pushes out a little bit further and sends Isaac's blade flying. For me, these are moments where I think Yip could be a little bit more aggressive to take that shot in. She has complete control. She has her wall built, which means her sword is completely between her and Isaac's sword, and there's really no way that Isaac can come in and strike at her with his tip of his sword unless he moves completely over here to reach or pulls his sword back, which again, her sword is in perfect position to just slide and strike directly in. But if I remember correctly, from the beginning, she doesn't take the full opportunity. She just follows the sword down to prepare for that next strike from Isaac, and then backs off a little bit. This is where I think multiple attacks is really helpful, because you can see that Isaac is just throwing shot after shot after shot towards Yip and slowly breaking down her defense. She had that nice solid wall, but now her sword is a little lower down here, which leaves all of this more open. And I think Isaac's pressing hard to get that shot in. Now she has to back up to defend herself. Again, pressing. This is where I think, again, Yip's offhand right here could come down to take that blade. And look how close the sword is to Isaac's face, right? If Yip, being under a press is tough enough as it is, but with that mentality, those multiple strikes and these moments are really good opportunities to attack against back. That parry riposte, that response, she's got a line directly towards Isaac if she could take it, but Isaac press is keeping her back and at bay. And rather than using the offhand, she brings her sword down to pull it in. And then I think she does a really good job of finding that open space as she steps in this direction, keeping her sword online. And Isaac's blade is captured. Now she's bringing in the offhand, pressing in, trying to reach out. Isaac does a great job bringing his offhand in as well to keep it at bay. He's trying to free his sword as it brings it in. This is a great opportunity as well. When you're in close, you can see how close she came to landing that shot. Because she was winding in the close range, her sword can't fully get that tip in front of Isaac to get it tip in. It ends up on the side, and she's moving forward again, closing her range even more. So if she had been a little further back, she could have landed maybe something point in. Again, pulling back, staying away from that tip, getting her sword up and away. But again, this is where still there's these moments in fencing where Isaac is standing here, his sword is down here, and if Yip wanted to, could strike again. Too often after an exchange during that reset phase, both fencers reset. Oh, and this is where it was. Isaac had taken a leg. Yip held out. So it makes sense. But again, the point stands while we forward through that you want to try to avoid resetting in a fight at the same time. Because if you know that your opponent is resetting, this gives you an opportunity to strike while they're not engaged with you. But in this moment, I think Yip does a good thing, shows a point of honor, calls back a solid shot that really wasn't much of anything, as we saw. And now we're back again to the exchange. Little conversation. Isaac's getting bold, pulling back. Again, it's still foible. Still foible to Mezzo as we try. That shot isn't really going anywhere, so not much of a reaction needed. But here comes the multiple attacks again. And again, this is where I think... Let's keep backing up. I'm trying to zero in how close this is. A little bit of point control, and these moments where Isaac's sword is really nowhere near Yip, so there's not a lot that needs to be defended. So just take the shot in when you have those moments. Step back in, fort to fort. Battle of the Blades. Isaac is fighting to get his tip in, which is great. Get the offhand going. Isaac's tracking there really well. Both offhands for both these fighters are really doing well, tracking exactly where the danger point is, which is for Yip, it's focusing in down here at the hilt to keep Isaac's blade at bay, whereas Isaac was focusing on Yip's the tip, the thing that's the most dangerous bit. Essentially, Yip is trying to prevent Isaac from responding, and Isaac is in the defensive mode, trying to stay free. Here we go. We clip the arm on that way in, and out she comes. Isaac's going to switch hands. Again, a solid press, a little bit more point control, and all those shots could have been straight in. It's always a good sign when you do get those shots after those close exchanges. All right, we're back to the conversation. Now Yip is on the advance, and bam, right there, and again. So I think what makes this strike really, really powerful is just taking the moment where, again, Isaac's tip is not close enough to do any damage, and a quick shot in can really land the killing blow over the blade on the return, and then followed up by a second there just to confirm, probably because she didn't quite hear the death originally. So really good fight between Yip and Isaac.